quick segment. This one's going to be brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing Systems. I know that guy. The right roof, the right price. Folks who are working paycheck to paycheck, well, those guys choose Daniel because he provides quality roofing at affordable prices. And the people with money to burn, well, they choose Daniel because he's got better looking roofs than anybody in town. I mean, you can go either way there. Daniel Hood Roofing Systems. Call him this week. I can vouch for him. He's a pretty good guy. Proud to have him on the show every week. All right, quick slants. I used to just give you your own free time. Now I've gotten to where every year I change that to my own questions. So here we go. Bob, last week I asked you, well, actually, who do you think enjoyed last night's game more, John Curry or Greg Schiano? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Last week I asked you, 2018 Vols, would they beat the 2017 Vols, and if so, by how much? I'm giving you said 17-7, the 2018 last week. Do-over or same score?
Is 0-0 tie on the table? I think it's just a toss-up. I don't think you can pick between. They're both bad football teams. I thought this team coming into last night looked a little bit better. I no longer think that. I think this offensive line may possibly be worse than last year's offensive line.
That team quit. The first 3 games last year they fought. Then they quit.
Almost beat Florida.
Yeah. And beat Georgia Tech. And fell behind and fought back. That game, the first month's Tennessee team last year would beat this one. They're probably even. All right, Josh, give me a percentage breakdown. Blame on Jeremy Pruitt, blame on Butch Jones, blame on somebody else if you want to throw him in there.
Yeah, the popular thing right now is just 100% on Butch Jones. I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to say 35% on Butch Jones. That's for the state of the program where it is right now, the talent level last night. 15% on Jeremy Pruitt. That's for the fumbles where they're ready to play. 50% just look at the program. Look at where things are, because this is the 3rd or 4th time we've done the which coach is responsible. 2008 you don't go to a bowl game. 2011 you don't go. 2012, 2013 that was previous coaches that were blamed. There needs to be a big picture look at UT.
Okay, too much. There's too many slices of the pie just to divvy it up.
It goes around, yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, Cortez Sapp coming back from an injury. That's what Jeremy Pruitt said last night. Apparently he didn't want to go in the game when Pruitt asked him to. So Pruitt said, don't know how things have been handled in the past, but you get to the locker room. It sounds like he's still got an opportunity to stay on the team. Sounds like. How big of a deal is this for the team going forward? That's a test. That's a test for a first-year coach.
I think it's a big deal from the perspective. You hear coaches talk about we have to change the culture. This is what you're talking about, the culture. Sapp thought it was okay to say, I'm not going back in. Well, there was a consequence. There might not have been a consequence before, but there is now. And so I think it's a big culture issue. What Sapp does from here on, whether he apologizes to the team that approved, whatever, I don't know. But I think that tells you a lot about, and I don't think he's the only player on the team that would have this kind of a mindset. That, I think, is the problem. That is one of the issues with Tennessee. So seeing what Sapp did to me is a concern, because I don't think he's the only one that has this mentality on this football team.
It brought to mind Jalen Hurd from a couple of years ago, and he wasn't told just to walk off. He wound up quitting after the game.
Correct, after South Carolina.
Yeah. Chuck, okay, look, the stands were half full against UTEP. They were half full for the end of last year, too. You got a good crowd back there for Florida yesterday. But you're not going to be recognizing the 98 champions again unless they can call them back in. Hey, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it until Tennessee wins. Does fan apathy set in right now?
Boy, I tell you, it's going to be really easy for that to happen, Johnny, because it's going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, you look at these next 3 games and you look at that atmosphere leading up to the game, and there were a lot of people that thought Tennessee was going to beat Florida.
Tons of people.
Then you saw what happened right in front of you, and you're not even really close. So, yeah, there's a real chance for that happening.
I don't think you've hit apathetic yet, in this program. Again, you clearly haven't, because you had a big crowd yesterday.
And
I just wonder, what's it going to take to get the next big crowd in there?
Are you going to be able to keep this football team together?
You ain't hit it yet, but you're parked in front of the building, getting out of your car, getting ready to open a door.
Well, I think the next home games will show it.
I think you're going to be apathetic real quick.
The next home games will show it. I think it has to end, because what's your record going to be like when you come back to Neyland Stadium?
It's going to take Alabama fans to help fill it up.
Well, and see, my thought is, all right, do you pack that house for Florida next year? I think there's a less chance unless they do the 21st anniversary of the 98 team, because I think that you're getting to the point where people are going to say it's taken a decade, 15 years decline, 10 years bad, of saying, okay, now you're not rewarding me for anything. I'm not going to come over there anymore. We'll see. All right, I was just going to say one thing. Remember, my slant is this. Remember this next year. when you convince yourself that Tennessee's been holding its playbook back, that it hasn't shown anything, that the big surprise is going to come against Florida, we've been hiding it. Remember this next year. There's a reason we were kind of poking fun at that last week. You make wrinkle changes, so does the other team. You're never going to see a team just break out a whole other playbook. And if that's the answer, Tennessee should use Alabama's playbook because all their plays seem to work. All right, when we come back, the Cavaliers line, who here? What line is he going to pick to get someone here to side with the Vols? We'll see. Come on back on the Sports World.